First thing on the remembering side, we want to move this decimal point over, which means we move this decimal point over and put a 0 here. I'm going to rewrite the problem so it doesn't look so messy. And then I'm going to round 32 to 30. 32 doesn't go into 1. It doesn't go into 12. 3 goes into 12 4 times, but I know that's going to be too high because I rounded down. So I'm going to go down to 3, and I get 96. When I subtract, I get 28. 28 is less than 32, so I'm going to go ahead and bring down the 0. 3 goes into 28 9 times. 9 times 2 is 18. 9, oops, that's going to be too high. So I'm going to go down to 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 1 is 25. And I get 24. I'm going to add that decimal point in and add another 0 and bring down the 0. And I'm going to go down to 7 because 256 I knew was too high. So I have 32 times 7 gives me 224. And you can see I continued it up over here because I ran out of room, which is really, really terrible form for division. I need to add another 0, and I'm going to bring it down, and so now I have 160. 3 goes into 16 5 times, and 32 times 5 is 160. So I'm done at 38.75. For number 2, I already moved over the decimal point and added the 0. So now we're over here. 14 doesn't go into 3, but it will go into 37 2 times. And I get 28. I subtract and I get 9. Bring down my 1. And 14 is a hard one. I'm going to just take a guess and say 7 because I kind of count up by tens, but it's much more. It's 4 more than 10. So I'm going to start with 7 and see. I have 28. Oh, that's going to put me at 98. So that's not going to work. So let's go down to 6. 6 times 4 is 24, and then I get 84. I subtract and I get 7. I bring down my 0. And look, if 6 times 14 is 84, then 5 times 14 is going to be 70 because I subtract 14 from 84, and there's my answer. So once again, I already showed that I went over 2 here, so I need to go over 2, and I rewrote it with the zeros. 75 doesn't go into 93, but it goes into 9, but it goes into 93 one time. That's an easy one. 13 minus 5 is 8. 8 minus 7 is 1. I bring down my 0, and I think, okay, 75 and 75 is $1.50 or $1.50, and so I'm going to try 2, and I know that's $1.50. And then I bring this down, and then I can think to myself, 150 2 times is 300. So if I take this 2 times, I get 300, and there's my answer of 124. So I move my decimal point over 1, so I need to move it over here. So 55 doesn't go into 1, but it goes into 56 one time. That's super easy. I subtract and I get 1. Now here's something tricky that lots of kids get wrong. 55 doesn't go into 11, so I need to put 0 up at the top, that it doesn't go into 11. And then when I subtract, I can bring down my 0. And 55 2 times, I know is 110, and I have my answer of 102. Move the decimal point over twice, so I'll move the decimal point over twice and add those 2 zeros in. And now I love my 12s. I have 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72. So 12 times 6 is 72. Bring down my 0 for 30. So 2 times 12 I know is 24. I subtract and I get 60, and I bring down my 0. And if I can't remember, I can just recount 12, 24, 36, 48, 60 right on the nose. And so my answer is 625. Number 6, I just rewrote already because I needed the space. I moved the decimal point over and added the 0. 26 doesn't go into 1, and it doesn't go into 11. I'm going to round 26 to 30. 3 goes into 11 3 times. 3 times 6 is 18. I get 78. I subtract. That's too high of a remainder, so I need to go back to the drawing board, and I'm going to go up to 4. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 2 is 8. 10, so I have 14. Bring down my 3. 3 goes into 14. I'm going to say 5 because I can see 104 and I know that's going to be too high of a remainder. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 3 more is 13. And then I'm going to bring down my 0 and I have 130. Look, right there I have 130. So I know to get 130 again, I just need to multiply by 5 again, and I know I'm going to get 130 one more time. And so my answer is 455. All right, guys and gals, if you are listening to this video and you are on 7 and 8, you can just, oopsie daisies, go ahead and put an X through them. We didn't do conversions yet of ounces to pounds, and this becomes a very complicated couple of problems, so you can just go ahead and put X's through them. A large can of peaches serves 6 people. How many cans of peaches would be needed to serve 287 people? So you're dividing the peaches out into groups of 6 people. So that means we're going to divide those two numbers together. And this is so much fun to go back to single digit divisors. We have 6 times 4 is 24. Bring down our 7. 6 goes into 47. Oopsie, no it doesn't. 7 times, sorry about that, which is 42, and you have a remainder of 5. So this means that you have 47 cans, but there are 5 people who wouldn't get any peaches. So 47 isn't enough. You have to have 48 cans, so those last 5 people have peaches to eat. Paper plates are sold in packs of 24. How many packs of paper plates should be purchased if 305 people are expected to show up for a picnic? That's a lot of P's in there. If you count up all the P's at the beginning of sentences and write your answer, I'll give you a cube for it, just for fun. We take 305, just remind me because I'll probably forget, and I'll wonder what that answer is there for. Write your answer and say, this is for a cube. And we're going to divide it out because they're dividing those plates into groups of 24. So the first part is easy. I know 24 will only go into 30 one time. And 24 will go into 65. I'm going to try twice because 2 24s I know is 48. And then when I subtract, I'm left with 17. This means if I buy 12 paper plates, 17 people are not going to have a paper plate to eat off of. So that means I need to buy 13 packs so everybody has one. Number 11 says, at the aquarium, the penguins are put into smaller pools at night to protect them. Each smaller pool holds 12 penguins. The aquarium has 129 penguins in all. How many smaller pools do they need? So they are dividing the penguins up into groups of 12. So this is pretty easy because 12 goes into 9 0 times. Once again, this means if they have 10 pools, they will have enough pools for 120 penguins because we know these two numbers multiplied together, it gets us to 120. But we have 129 penguins. That means that 9 penguins they don't have a pool to swim in, which is unacceptable. So we need to have 11 pools. And if I do the multiplication here and I say, 12 times 11, because there's 12 penguins in 11 pools, I'm going to get 132, which shows that I'm going to have enough for all of the 129 penguins. Number 12 says, it takes 32 pieces of paper to print a brochure for Pierre's Poodle Grooming Salon. Paper comes in packs of 500 sheets called a ream. How many reams are needed to print 152 brochures? This is a multi-step process because first we have to figure out that there is 152 brochures, and each one of those brochures needs 32 pages. So we have to first figure out how many total number of pages we're going to need. So this is 10, 3, 0, 6, 15, 4. So we need a total, or they need a total, of 4,864 pages to print the brochures because each brochure needs 32 pieces. So now we're going to divide this 4,864 divided by, I'm going to go to a new sheet here because otherwise 4,824 divided by 500. And even though this is a 3-digit, this is easy. We're going to think 5 500 doesn't go into any of these. 5 goes into 48 9 times, and we know that that's 4,500. Okay, so this is saying that if I get 9 reams of paper, they're going to be 300. I'm going to be 324 pages short. So here I'm going to have to buy 10 reams of paper, and I'll just have leftover paper. But I'd rather have leftover paper than have to not have enough paper.